What's up everyone? Today I've got a video about the 268 version 5. We'll talk about the tank, the armor model, and also a little bit about my opinions on the auctions. I did talk about it more in depth in my previous video, but this one will be more focused around the free experience aspect. So, let's get into it. The 268 version 5 is a tier 10 Russian tank destroyer. It is something that has been in the game for years, at least in the game files, originally introduced on the Chinese server. And I've been wanting this in the game for a long time just because of how unique it is, because it's a 268, but it's turreted. So I was really excited actually when I saw this. Though at the same time, the free experience, which we'll talk about later. Anyways, this is my loadout. This thing has terrible view range, so I am actually running optics, and I'm actually running improved optics because it's really that bad. I like having view range. It allows me to get assistance when going for marks, and also I like spotting my own targets because I can't always count on my teammates. I went for a full gun handling setup. I know many would drop the IRM for turbo or even grousers, or even drop the optics and the IRM for grousers and turbo. It's a legit loadout if you're going to drive around super quickly. I wanted to maximize the gun, and also my view range. So that is what I did. Rammer directive just to get the reload just a little bit lower. BIA, situational awareness, recon, the view range is that bad. Anyways, 750 alpha has the 268's gun, so 303 pen, and with the heat, it's 395. Big difference. So you can go through quite a bit, and I was very happy to see that it's 950 meters per second for the AP. Originally, I didn't think it was going to be, but my first game in it, I realized that this thing actually has decent shell velocity on the AP. I was very happy about that. Only 760 for the heat, but you don't even really need that most of the time. The reload is sub 15 seconds with my loadout. The accuracy is actually decent. The aim time is not. So you will have to sit and aim for a while, even with the gun handling setup. With IRM, the penalties are reduced a decent amount, so you are able to snap just a little bit better than if you were running grousers and turbo. But I digress. Top speed is 48, however, you will not reach that. The effective top speed on hard terrain is only 35, and on medium, 32. This is why people might run grousers and turbo. I think it's fine to go 35 most of the time. Most of the time, you aren't driving at maximum speed. This thing is not a full-fledged heavium. This is a tank destroyer. You're not going to snipe as much, as I will show in the gameplay. It has a very unique playstyle, but going downhill, you'll definitely hit this and more. I think I saw it go as high as 56, so you can get places pretty quick. But yeah, anyways, view range only 460 with optics, and all the crew skills and crazy loadout I was doing just shows you how low the base view range is. It's 360. So I really had to push it. Gun depression, only 5 degrees all the way around. That does come into play if you aren't on a flat map. It is annoying at times, but if it was 7, this thing would not be balanced whatsoever. Your crew is exactly the same as the 268, so I have my 268 crew in this. Let's go over to the armor profile real quick, but I'm going to change it to the IS-7 just to show. So this is what the IS-7's gun can do. Remember, the IS-7 only has 250 pen, but it shows how the hull is still butter for basically everything tier 8 and above. It's the T10's hull, so it's absolutely butter. Just make sure you hit the flat parts. Don't aim for the pike nose, standard typical pike on a Russian heavy tank. Cupola is super weak. 160, 120, 110. It looks like there's a 20 millimeter area. Even the roof is pennable at this angle from an IS-7. This thing is kind of tall, so you have to be slightly above it to do that. But anyways, the turret, there are some weak spots under the gun and to the left and the right. And this is with 250 pen. If we bump it up to like the APCR, which is only 303, it's one of the lower ones, but you can still see how so much of the turret is an easy pen. With 340 heat, as many of the tanks at tier 10 have, this turret is absolute butter. So this thing does not have armor. I actually think it is less armored than the E4. It is slightly faster though, so you have that going for it. Anyways, let's get into some gameplay. So while we are watching this game, I'll talk a little bit about my opinion on the fact that it went for free XP. Someone did point out a good point, that if you didn't go overboard with your bid, you were still able to acquire this for less free XP than if you free XP'd a brand new tier 10 line. So, and you didn't have to spend credits. Which, I think put that way, it doesn't seem that bad. I'm still not a fan of free experience being used as a currency for auctions. If it was a set price, like in World of Warships for the premiums in the tech tree, I would maybe be okay with it, but I don't know about it for auctions. Now, that was a really lucky fire. That Kron is just super unlucky. But this thing plays a lot like a Heavium in the fact that you want to get to decent positions early, and then you can shoot crosses, you can do a lot of damage, and because you have 750 alpha, tanks just get punished so much. Like, that Kron, fire aside, would have lost 1500 HP pretty quickly. Now, this is a small map, so the aim time isn't as prevalent. There were some battles where I did have to aim quite a bit to actually get a shot in. I think in this next shot shows up a little bit, though I also wanted to make it count. He did fire, if you saw, at the STRV. And I also waited for him to rock backwards to expose his lower plate even more. That is one way you can try to deal with the 268 version 4s. Anyway, up to 3k damage. This is the thing about the 268 version 5. You accumulate damage quite quickly. It does have over 3000 DPM with my loadout. And good comparison in my opinion is actually the 60 TP, just with a little bit less armor. Oh, a lot less armor. Also, watch here, I actually use intuition and I switched to heat. The HE actually has 90 pen and 1100 alpha. It's the original tank destroyer high explosive alpha. So intuition is a must on this because you will accumulate a lot more damage than normal by being able to switch to heat if you need to go through higher armored areas, whereas I just missed because I misjudged the low shell velocity as I was talking about earlier. And then switching to high explosive if you have the back of or side of something that you can pen, which I need to check the, yeah, it is also 760, so you will be lobbing those HE shells, but yeah. Anyways, keep round through the E100's turret face up to 4400. This is just what this tank is about. You just kind of brawl in it. It has no armor, as I showed in the armor model. But 750 alpha, you can trade really well. Again, I misjudged that shell velocity. I hit the side of the turret at an over-angled state. You will have to get used to the differing shell velocities like many tanks have, but I digress. Like I said, I think this is one of those things that is acceptable to put in auction. It's not broken in any way. It's not overpowered. It has no armor. It's unique. But at the same time, you will want to pick one up if you have the chance. If you are a collector or you like playing a very unique playstyle. Anyways, let's jump over to the post-game stats real quick. 5100 damage, nothing super crazy. Top damage. Quick game. Ammunition is not cheap because it is a tier 10 tank destroyer, but we all know that. So, to wrap this up, 268 version 5, unique, fun in my opinion, not overpowered, but not useless either. And free XP auctions, not a fan. Free XP as a currency used to get premium tanks, let's say in the tech tree, I could live with that. And again, I'll reiterate my point from the previous video. I don't think auctions should be selling tanks that haven't been seen before. Even something like the version 5, which I don't think that many people really wanted or will play that often. But we'll see. At this point, it's out of our hands. We can complain all we want, but we'll make do. If you are curious more about my opinions on the auctions, check out my previous video. Hope you enjoyed this. Please leave a comment if you have any questions, if you want to discuss anything. Like, subscribe, join my Discord. I will see you guys around.